Good afternoon to all. Today I am going to teach about the next class of female reproductive system. It includes internal and external reproductive organs. In internal, ovary is very important because it has got two important functions, that is secretion of female sex hormones and production of egg. So in brief, ovary is the internal reproductive organ and is covered by a single layer of flattened cuboidal epithelium divided into two parts, medulla and cortex. Cortex is active in female and medulla part contain blood vessel, nerve and lymphatics. In the stoma of the ovary, large number of immature ova that are known as primary oocytes are present, and each primary oocyte is surrounded by several stromal cells known as granulosa cell. The primary oocytes together with the granulosa cell form a primary follicle. So this is the structure of ovary. You see here the germinal epithelium. This is blood vessels, primary follicle, stroma, cortex that is. This one is mature follicle. Mature follicle contain theca externa, interna, granulosa and follicular fluid. So this is microscopic appearance of ovary, corpus luteum. Here egg released. This one is Graafian follicle. So at birth, each ovary of a girl has about 1 million primordial follicles. Most of these fail to mature and are lost through atresia. A woman produces only one ovum every month during her reproductive period, that is from 15 years to 50 years of age approx, which comes around 400 ova in a lifetime. So, no ovum is produced during pregnancy because monthly ovarian cycle is suspended during pregnancy, and the monthly cycle is commonly called the menstrual cycle because it is accompanied by bleeding from the uterus about 4 days in a month. So what is menstrual cycle? Come to the menstrual cycle. The female reproductive organ undergo characteristic cyclic changes apparently in preparation for fertilization and conception. If there is when there is shedding of uterine epithelium at a regular interval along with bleeding, this is termed menstruation, and the cycle of related events occurring regularly is called menstrual cycle. So, menstrual cycle occurs due to cyclical secretion of pituitary gonadotropins, that are FSH and LH, that is follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, and there is cyclicity to estrogen and progesterone secretion from the ovary. The cycle is accompanied by ovarian as well as uterine changes. So the cycle begins with puberty at about 10 years, but the first menstruation, that is menarche, is generally a few years later, that is at the age of 12 to 14 years. So age of menarche is approx 12 to 14 years normally in girls. The average duration of cycle is about 28 days, but it may ranges from 20 to 45 days. So the number The days are numbered in the term of menstrual bleeding. That is, the first day of the cycle begins the first day of menstrual bleeding, and ovulation takes place at about 14 days of cycle in 28 days cycle. If the cycle length is shorter or shorter than 28 days, the variation is generally in the period of before ovulation, and that is the interval between ovulation and end of the cycle is essentially constant at 14 days irrespective of the cycle length. So if the cycle is of 30 days, then ovulation occurs on 16th day. So the last portion is fixed, that is 14 days is fixed. So this figure show the different phases in ovarian cycle. Day 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. First half is follicular phase, second is luteal phase, and the events occurring in ovary. So menstrual cycle biologically rational of the cycle is apparently based on the assumption that ovulation may be soon followed by fertilization. The cycle ensures that fertilized ovum will be received by a well-prepared uterus. If, however, fertilization does not take place, preparation of uterus is undone, and in the process, the uterine wall breaks down and bleeds, and resulting in menstruation. Come to the oogenesis. What is oogenesis? The oogenesis, the ova are all formed in the fetal life and they lie inside the primordial follicle. During fetal life, as many as 7 million primordial follicles are formed in the ovary. Many of them will degenerate at birth, and the number drop down to 2 million approx. The ova and the primordial follicle undergo the first phase of meiotic division and get arrested in the stage of prophase. There is oocyte maturation inhibitor secreted from granulosa cell is responsible for arrest in this prophase. And this stage of arrest continues till the period just before the ovulation, when the first meiotic division is completed with the production of secondary oocyte and first polar body. So there is different phases of cell cycle. जानते होंगे आप लोग सभी लोग, prophase, anaphase, metaphase, telophase, all are the different cycle of different cell cycle, different phases of cell cycle. So the first polar body degenerate and disappear, and the secondary oocyte immediately enters into the second meiotic division, and this is arrested at metaphase state until the sperm fertilize the ovum. And at the time of fertilization, the second polar body is given off, and the fertilized ovum is now ready to multiply into the new offspring. So this picture shows how oogenesis occurs. Here is oogonium, primary oocyte versus first. Secondary oocyte, first polar body is formed here, and this is secondary oocyte. Fertilization occurs from the sperm. The secondary polar body is formed. So during fetal development, meiosis first begin but stop in prophase. After puberty, primary oocyte complete meiosis 1, which produces a secondary oocyte and a first polar body that may or may not be divided again, and the secondary oocyte begins meiosis 2 but stop in metaphase, stop in metaphase stage of cell cycle. Then the secondary oocyte and the first polar body is ovulated. After fertilization, meiosis second resume and the oocyte is split into ovum and the second body. When there is fertilization, zygote formed. So as already mentioned, at the birth only 2 million primary oocytes survive. At puberty, number falls further to only 30,000. Sorry, 3 lakhs. Only about 450 of these attain the mature stage in female. reproductive life. At menopause, most of the ovarian follicles are exhausted. So here we have seen the development of the primary oocyte is arrested at the prophase stage of meiosis. This prophase stage of meiosis in a primary oocyte may persist for a period varying between 15 to 50 years, as the ovulation may occur soon after menarche and just before menopause. Menarche means the first mens appears, and menopause is the cessation of menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycles, there are changes in the ovary that are known as ovarian cycle, and also there are changes in the uterus, uterine wall, endometrial uterine wall के endometrium में change होता है, उसको फिर uterine cycle बोलते हैं. So there is two ovarian changes and uterine changes, both occur simultaneously. So ovarian cycle divided into two phases, follicular phase and luteal phase. The follicular phase lasts for 14 plus minus 7 days and luteal phase lasts for 14 days. That is, luteal phase is fixed and follicular phase is variable depending upon the duration of the cycle. So first up, that is the 14 days of the cycle are occupied by development of the follicles, and this is why this phase is known as follicular phase. Here you saw ovary, that is follicular phase, follicles growing, and luteal phase from 14 to 28, that is luteal phase, and here is the follicular phase. Same picture. Follicular phase. Come to the follicular phase of the ovarian cycle. During the first week of the follicular phase, a few primordial follicles start developing, but by the end of the 1 week, only one follicle continues to develop further, while the remaining follicles become smaller and disappear, that is, undergo atresia. So this is the picture of Graafian follicle, secondary oocyte, zona pellucida, glycoprotein covering, corona radiata. These are the granulosa cell, feed antrum, secondary oocyte, here, zona pellucida. And then the follicle that continue to develop finally has a cavity filled with follicular fluid, and on one side is the ovum surrounded by granulosa cells. The granulosa cells are further surrounded by two layers of the theca, that is, internal is theca interna, that is vascular, and the outer one is theca externa. On the 14th day of the cycle, the follicle ruptured and the ovum together with the fluid surrounding granulosa cell is set into the abdominal cavity. So, this picture shows ovulation, ovum release in the abdominal cavity along with corona radiata, that is corpus luteum. This shows how the development of the follicles from primordial follicle to this mature Graafian follicle. So, and the remaining follicles form the corpus hemerogicum in the ovary, and the process of ovum being discharged from the follicle is known as ovulation. So ovulation is a process of ovum being discharged from the follicles. So in follicular phase, the early growth of follicle is due to action of the FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone secreted by the anterior pituitary, and the production of this hormone in childhood is negligible, but it increases just before puberty. It acts on the primordial follicle of the ovary and leads to proliferation and growth of the granulosa cell and theca interna. Under the influence of this hormone during each menstrual cycle, one of the primordial follicle is converted into a Graafian follicle. So this is the development of Graphene follicle, release of ovum and Graphene follicle development. This is the picture of Graphene follicle. This one is secondary oocyte. This glycoprotein layer is zona pellucida. This is antral fluid. Two layers, that is internal is theca interna, that is vascular, and this one is outer is theca externa, that is connective tissue capsule. This layer is very important, that is theca interna. It secretes hormone estrogen. So this is the Graphene follicle. Same thing, zona pellucida, oocyte, fluid, theca interna and externa layer. So the Graphene follicle takes 14 to 7 days, plus minus 7 days to mature. The granulosa cell and the theca interna produces estrogen. This hormone acts onto the genital tract and causes hypertrophy and hyperplasia of the tissue, and it is responsible for the development of secondary sexual character in females. Estrogen increase number of FSH receptors on granulosa cell, which in turn lead to release of more estrogen, resulting in positive feedback loop. Further, the combined action of FSH and estrogen leads to expression of LH receptor on granulosa cell and theca cells, and the availability of LH receptor leads to progesterone secretion towards the end of the follicular phase. So LH search for the ovulation. Further, finally programmed positive feedback mechanism leads to a sharp rise in LH secretion about 6 hours before ovulation, and this LH surge is essential for the ovulation. You see here the LH surge here, and this LH surge is essential for the ovulation. LH is produced by the basophilic cell of the anterior pituitary, and it acts on mature Graphene follicle and leads to shedding of the ovum and conversion of Graphene follicle into the corpus luteum. And this hormone is produced in a small quantity continuously, but a sudden surge takes place in the middle of the cycle, and this is responsible for the ovulation. This is due to positive feedback by estrogen acting on hypothalamus and anterior pituitary. Ovulation occurs 14 days before mens regardless of the cell length. Thus, in 28 days cycle ovulation occurs in 14 days, and in 35 days cycle ovulation occurs in 22 days. So last portion is fixed, that is of 14 days. So ovulation occurs as a result of estrogen induced LH surge. Estrogen level decreases after ovulation. So this picture shows the control of the LH surge at ovulation. What are the indicators of ovulation? There is approximate 1 degree centigrade temperature rise of body temperature rise after ovulation, that is associated with progesterone secretion by the corpus luteum. Second, the cervical mucus increases and becomes watery, and spring can be formed associated with the estrogen peak prior to ovulation. Metelasmus is the pain in the middle of the cycle. It may be felt due to irritation due to fluid that are released along with the ovulation from ruptured follicle, and there may sometimes spotting in the middle of the cycle that is associated with the fall of the hormone. Now come to the luteal phase of the ovarian cycle. There is sudden surge of luteinizing hormone of the anterior pituitary takes place in the middle of the cycle, and this hormone acts on the mature follicle on 13 to 15 days of the ovarian cycle and causes the rupture of the follicle and the setting of the ovum, that is ovulation. And then the empty graphene follicle is converted into the corpus luteum. So when there is ovulation, this remaining portion of the graphene follicle here converted into the structure known as corpus luteum. So the corpus luteum takes 3 to 4 days to mature, that is 17 to 18 days of the cycle, and function for 5 to 6 days, that is 23rd day to 24th day, and then it start degenerating after the 24th day, and degeneration is completed in 4 to 5 days by the end of the cycle. After degeneration, the corpus luteum finally acquire a white color because of the fibrin deposition, and this white color structure is known as corpus albicans. So here you showing the corpus luteum, hemorrhagicum, corpus hemorrhagicum, corpus luteum, mature corpus luteum, corpus albicans, this one. If the fertilization of the ovum takes place, the stage of degeneration is delayed and the corpus luteum continue to function for 13 to 15 weeks of pregnancy, and this is due to production of the HCG by the trophoblast of the fertilized ovum. At this stage, the placenta take over the function from the corpus luteum completely. So in luteal phase, that is from 14 to 28, corpus luteum began to develop and it synthesizes estrogen and progesterone. Vascularity and the secretory activity of the endometrium increases to prepare for the receipt of the fertilized egg. Basal body temperature increases because of the effect of progesterone on the hypothalamic thermoregulatory center. If fertilization does not occur, the corpus luteum regresses at the end of the luteal phase. As a result, estradiol and progesterone level decreases and the mens started, that is endometrium is sloughed because of the abrupt withdrawal of the hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. Now come to the uterine cycle. Uterine cycle main change occurs in the endometrium. Endometrium has two layers, internal, and one layer is basal and one is functional. So in the uterine cycle, we have just seen that at the end of the menstrual cycle, the corpus luteum degenerates to form the corpus albicans. The degenerated corpus luteum cannot synthesize much estrogen and progesterone. Withdrawal of these hormones leads to breakdown of the uterine wall and bleeding, and this results in menstruation. So, onset of the bleeding is considered as beginning of the menstrual cycle. Bleeding continued for 4 days. By day 5, the ovarian follicle is sufficiently developed to secrete estrogen, and then the uterine wall not only start getting repaired, but the endometrium thickness also start increasing. So during mens, all the superficial uterine epithelium is shed. So these pictures show the changes during menstrual cycle. This is in endometrial layer, day 1st to day 5 is setting of the endometrium. In proliferative phase, there is development of endometrium. In secretive phase, these glands become more developed. So endometrium responds to ovarian hormones, that are estrogen and progesterone, and the ovarian activity is divided into follicular and luteal phase. Estrogen are produced during follicular and luteal phase, but progesterone is produced only by the corpus luteum during the luteal phase. And the endometrium response is accordingly to the ovarian activity, correspondingly to follicular and luteal phase. So accordingly, endometrium response is divided into two phases, that is first proliferative phase and second is secretory phase. And the endometrial cycle correspond to the ovarian cycle and it lasts for 28 plus minus 7 days. So this picture show the menstrual phase, secretory phase. This one is proliferative phase. There are two arteries, spiral artery and basal artery. So first come to the proliferative phase. The proliferative phase start on the first day of menstruation and last for about 14 plus minus 7 days. The following endometrial changes takes place under the influence of the estrogen from ovaries. Menstruation, that is, it lasts for 2 to 8 days. The endometrium is set during this stage. The entire endometrium is not set, but only a small area undergo necrosis and are lost. That is, superficial layer is lost. So the setting of the endometrium is due to necrosis of the superficial and intermediate zone of the endometrium. Withdrawal of the hormone causes the spasm of blood vessel, which leads to ischemic necrosis of the endometrium. And the blood loss during menstruation is approx 5 to 80 ml average. This picture shows the relation between ovarian phase, uterine phase, endometrial thickness, and the ovarian events. You see here the development of the follicles. Mature Graafian follicle, ovulation takes place, formation of corpus luteum, secretion of hormone progesterone, ovulation here, in endometrial thickness. In menstruation, there is endometrium become thin and then start growing. In secretory phase, it becomes more thicker, and then final menstruation occurs if pregnancy not occur. If fertilization not takes place. In ovarian phase, there is follicular phase, luteal phase, that is development of follicle, and here the formation of corpus luteum. Same picture. This picture shows the gonadotropic hormone level during different phases. There is follicular phase, ovulation, luteal phase, and there is LSH, FSH, ovarian cycle, primary follicle. These are the changes. Ovarian hormone, estrogen, this progesterone. This one is uterine cycle, changes in endometrium. So the menstrual content are blood mixed with said endometrium, prostaglandin and fibrinolysin. Blood is of arterial origin and menstrual blood does not clot. The duration is average 3 to 5 days and it may ranges from 1 to 8 days. And the amount of blood loss is 5 to 10 ml. After menses, most of the endometrium is lost. Only the basal layer and the basal part of the gland survive. And the repair of the endometrium starts during the menstruation by the proliferation of the basal layer of the endometrium and epithelial lining of the glands. The cell of the basal layer proliferate under the influence of estrogen. Estrogen, already shown in previous picture. The following changes takes place during this stage, that is in proliferative phase, that is cuboidal epithelial cells of the basal layer proliferate and multiply. The endometrium, which had become very thin, that is 1 to 2 mm due to shedding during the menstruation, increases in thickness, and the blood vessels also multiply in near endometrium and supply blood. The lining cell of the endometrial gland undergo mitosis to form the long tubular gland and surface epithelium of the endometrium. The lining of the gland changes from the cuboidal to columnar epithelium with the basal nucleus, and there is no secretory activity in the gland during this phase. At the end of this phase of the proliferation, the endometrium is vascular and thick, that is approximately 3 to 4 mm, and the tubular glands are straight. The cervical epithelium does not undergo cyclical changes like endometrium. In proliferative phase, the cervical mucus becomes thinner and alkaline, and this facilitates entry of the sperm into the uterine cavity. In secretory phase, come to the secretory phase. This phase continues last 14 days of the menstrual cycle, and its duration is remarkably constant. During this phase, the endometrium becomes thick and hypertrophied. The glands undergo changes in shape and they become elongated and coiled. Also, they secrete a thick, viscous, glycogen-rich fluid. And in this phase, the stromal cell cytoplasm is increased in volume. Glycogen and lipid accumulated inside the stromal cell, and these can provide the nourishment to the ovum after fertilization until it establishes alternative nutritive source. That is, in early stage of development of the fetus, it provides the nutrition to them. The coiled spiral arteries supply the stratum functionale, the superficial two-thirds of the endometrium, whereas the short and straight basal arteries supply the stratum basale, and that is the deeper one-third of the endometrium. And these changes were brought by combined action of estrogen and progesterone secreted from the corpus luteum, and this prepared the uterus for implantation of fertilized ovum. So this is known as the luteal phase. This picture shows the straight artery, spiral artery, uterine glands. In the secretory phase, the cervical secretion becomes thick, and this thickness preventing the entry of the sperms. At the same time, of the uterine muscle is inhibited by progesterone, and this minimizes any chance of abortion. Now come to the hormonal control of the menstrual cycle. The main aim of gonadotropins, that is follicular stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, is to prepare the endometrium each month for a pregnancy. This is how occurs. There is a hypothalamus. The hypothalamus releases gonadotropin releasing hormone, and this increases the synthesis and release of the FSH and LH from the anterior pituitary, and the hypothalamic control of the anterior pituitary is cyclical. So when there is increased FSH, there is increased development of the ovarian follicle, and these follicles secrete estrogen, and there is increased secretion from the theca interna cells, and this causes the proliferative changes in endometrium. Increased FSH leads to increased estrogen to reach a peak at about 12 to 13 days, and this period is known as estrogen surge. And there is increased responsiveness of pituitary to GnRH within 24 hours, and there is a burst of LH secretion, that is known as LH surge. And ovulation occurs about 6 to 9 hours after LH surge, and LH surge is also known as ovulating hormone. At the same time, when the LH peak occurs, the FSH also suddenly increases to peak, that is FSH surge. After ovulation, serum LH and FSH concentration falls to very low value for rest of the cycle. But as the corpus luteum is formed, serum progesterone concentration increases, and the serum estrogen and inhibin B also increases. So there is negative FSH and LH secretion via the negative feedback effect on hypothalamus. Progesterone acts on endometrium timed by the estrogen, and there is secretory phase of the endometrium development. If pregnancy occurs, the corpus luteum persists and continues to secrete estrogen and progesterone. However, its function began to decrease after 8 weeks of pregnancy. If it fails to secrete progesterone and estrogen, then there is a spontaneous abortion. If no fertilization takes place, corpus luteum regresses and there is sharp fall in progesterone and estrogen level, and there is withdrawal bleeding, that is mens occur. And when there is once the lipolysis of the corpus luteum begins, the progesterone and estrogen decreases and the secretion of FSH and LH increases. And this gonadotropin hormone, that is increased secretion of FSH and LH, and there is uh, development of the follicle and the new cycle begins. That is all about the menstrual cycle and its hormonal control.